Hello everyone, welcome to History with Hersefat. I'm your host Chris, aka Hersefat. Today I'll be conversing with a couple of average Joes about the year that was 1990. The views shared on this podcast come from your everyday ordinary people. My hope is that it'll give a unique perspective on history. Future podcasts, we're going to be doing the beneficial sounds of music here soon. Looks like the internet's about to get figured out. And then we'll be moving with the next year, 1991. Moving right along with this decade in review. Today we've got, Brad and Nick with us back again. Hello, guys. Hope you guys are doing all right.
Hello.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Good enough.
Good enough. That's good. We're going to do a little thing different to start it off before we get started into the timeline. I have, hopefully this will be a feature we continue. We'll see how it all works out. But I found a rather strange news article that I thought I'd save and bring to your guys' attention. So if you give me a minute here and we will bring that up. The article I got from looks like littlethings.com, which I'm not familiar with that website. But the title is Mystery Pooper Terrorizes High School Every Day Until, we'll find out, leaving you guys on edge here. It says, in September of 2017, a woman in Colorado Springs made headlines for defecating outside during her morning jog on neighbors' yards and sidewalks. It's also been reported that the entire city of San Francisco has a public poop problem that has become so out of hand that a poop map was created to warn residents which areas to avoid. Serial poopers are typically acting out their aggression and or resentment while trying to make a statement, as cringeworthy as it may be. Clinical psychologist Sharon Sherban, PhD, spoke with Men's Health to shed some light on the bizarre trend. She says, as with other vandalizing behavior like tire slashing, graffiti, or salting lawns, the motivation is anger or envy. Maybe the lawn pooper is envious of those in that neighborhood. Maybe the laundry pooper is angry about the laziness of others to empty washers in a timely fashion. Sherban also says the behavior may signify an addiction or other behavioral health issues. Yes, the term serial pooping is now a thing, and there's a brand new case taking over the internet. This story is perhaps the most strange and troubling of all, if for no other reason than the identity of the pooper in question. In spring of 2018, Holmdel High School in New Jersey became a frequent target of public defecation. Track coaches and administrators kept finding human feces on or near the school's football field and track, but no one could pinpoint the poopatrator. The poopatrator there, you got that?
God damn it. This whole thing sucks. This whole thing is fucking stupid.
Employees said happened on a daily basis. Eventually, New Jersey police decided to set up a sting operation by placing cameras near the football field. And now the case of the mystery pooper has been solved. Let's see if I can play it here. If you guys can hear it. If you guys can't, then I'll give it away who it is. Mm-hmm. If you can't hear anything, then I'll just stop.
No, nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing.
So it ended up being the superintendent of the school.
Mm-hmm.
The superintendent, for whatever reason, was shitting on the track field repeatedly. And it became so bad that they installed cameras. And I guarantee you they were expecting to, see someone, I don't know, homeless, or just maybe a kid or teenager,
Right.
Not the superintendent of the school.
Jesus. Just come on, people. We live in a society.
Oh gosh, I will be sharing this article in the description below. There actually is an ABC7 news channel in New Jersey area, because that's where it's from. They did a whole thing on it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and they do call the poopatrator, and they're so like horrifyingly disgusting, bizarre. It's like a whole thing, and it's the fucking. It's the superintendent, and get a load of this mugshot. He knows he fucked up. He shit the bed. He quit literally. Yes. It's
so
bad.
that made the news. So now there's going to be a ton of copycat crappers out there.
Right. Exactly. Serial shitters.
Hey, serial shitters. Yep.
Yeah.
Copy crappers.
So yes, that we'll see. And if I find, I just saw that article. There was the headline: "Mystery Pooper Terrorizes High School." I was like, what? And so I have to read. And yeah, it. I was shocked as well to find it to be the superintendent. Pretty funny stuff. Pretty strange.
Hysterical.
Of all the things that yeah, the mugshot's pretty funny too. So I
just picture a guy in his like suit, like a nice suit that he's like
got a nice collar popped up sort of deal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Not too happy. Doesn't look too happy. But yes, that is our strange news of the week. In this in the August of 2022. We will now move to 1990 here. We'll get that started.
Going back in time.
Going back in time here. And on January 31st, President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, gives his first State of the Union address and proposes that the U.S. and the Soviet Union make deep cuts to their military forces in Europe. He also proposed that the U.S. and the Soviet Union engage in ritualistic virgin sacrifices to cool hostilities. February 4th, smoking is banned on all cross-country flights in the United States. This upset a number of frequent flyers, but they soon got over it by doing pounds of coke in the bathroom. February 7th, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union votes to end its monopoly of power, clearing the way for multi-party elections with the selling of Park Place and Boardwalk. February 11th, Nelson Mandela is... February 11th, Nelson Mandela is released from Victor Verster prison near Cape Town, South Africa, after 27 years behind bars. When asked how he was feeling about leaving prison, Mandela replied with, "You can't touch this, motherfucker," and hammer-timed his way out the door. 27 years. 27 years behind bars. That freaked me out, by the way, that clapping. I was like, what is going on?
It's a studio audience.
Yeah, we're going to need more of that.
I forgot. I hired one. They're right behind me.
That's good. Money well spent.
One studio audience
member.
I hired one studio audience.
Yeah, they're not even on like bleachers or anything. They're just all standing behind me, like 30 people.
Could you imagine being in 27 years? That's just crazy. 27 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On March 13th, the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union approves changes to the Constitution of the Soviet Union to create a strong U.S.-style presidency. Mikhail Gorbachev is elected to a 5-year term as the first ever president of the Soviet Union, a first for a former Mouseketeer. March 18th, 12 paintings and a Shang Dynasty vase, collectively worth 100 to 300 million, are stolen from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, Massachusetts, by 2 thieves posing as police officers. This is the largest art theft in U.S. history, and the paintings, as of 2018, have not been recovered. Yeah.
Nice.
12 paintings and a Shang Dynasty vase, yeah. So they're out there somewhere, you know. It's kind of like, what is it, D.B. Cooper? Is that his name?
Yes, yeah.
And one of those things, yeah.
Yeah, those paintings in that vase are probably in some grandma's garage.
Right.
Probably going to be sold at a garage sale for like 10 cents each.
Yep.
Yeah. As far as I know about that story, the 2 guys that robbed it and posed as police officers, it was actually pretty easy to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they basically like waved the guards over. There were only like 2 guards on duty that night. And like one went to go to the like do his like rounds around the museum, and another one was stuck at like watching the cameras. And those 2 police enter like to like one of the entrances near like the security area, and they're knocking on the door, and that guy that wasn't on patrol comes and basically opens the door for him because they're police.
Right.
And then right at that moment he gets like bound and gagged, and then they wait for the patrol guy to come back, they bind and gag him, and then that was it. They took their shit and they left.
The good thing is no one was hurt. No one was hurt.
Yeah.
Well, except for the art community.
That's true. Yeah. And it hasn't been recovered. So I wonder how many like thefts like that haven't been recovered is out there somewhere. That'd be interesting. I wonder how much in total.
Well, they probably didn't think ahead, because if you tried to like turn around and sell that, or anything, they would immediately know, like,
right.
hey, that was stolen. Give that back.
Mm-hmm. That's why you'd have to sell it to some black market guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he'd
that's
probably
true.
have to sell it for a lot more.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll move on here. On April 24th, STS-31, the Hubble Space Telescope, is launched aboard Space Shuttle Discovery. The first photos taken by the telescope were scrapped as NASA had forgotten to take off the lens. The Hubble Space Telescope, man.
Well, what a boneheaded move by NASA.
So stupid. Oh, we forgot.
How big is that lens cap, you think?
Pretty massive. It's just floating in space now.
Yeah. Better watch out.
That's because that we just got new pictures from a much better telescope. That the Hubble was the pictures for a little bit here until much.
Oh yeah,
like a few weeks ago actually. So
yeah, now the Hubble's just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
fuck the Hubble.
Useless
pile of garbage. As good as that lens floating around. As good as that what it is. Yeah. On May 17th, the World Health Organization removes homosexuality from its list of diseases, but adds dumbassery to DEFCON 1. June 1st, U.S. President George H.W. Bush and Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev signed a treaty to end chemical weapon production and begin destroying their respective stocks. Both agree also to keep their respective nude photos. July 25th, Roseanne Barr infamously sings the Star Spangled Banner extremely poorly, causing controversy. I remember that.
I love that video.
Yeah. She just, the more people boo her, the bigger the smile comes across her face. She just loves it. It's so funny. It just, back
she did that intentionally?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew about this.
Oh, yeah. She went out there just, I can't even imitate
funny.
it.
Yeah, you can't even imitate it. It's so bad.
Funny.
I would have been dying in the stand, if I was of age, but all of it. Yeah, it's just hilarious. People take that as real, disrespecting the flag and the country and our soldiers. Just get fucked. Get fucked.
Yeah. Right.
All right. August 2nd, Iraq invades Kuwait, eventually leading to the Gulf War. When asked why he was invading Kuwait, Saddam reportedly replied that he'd seen Kuwait's newly opened 2-story Arby's and wanted it for himself.
Always with the Arby's.
Got it. Yeah. There's just one Arby's that he wants.
Stories.
He invades the whole country. Well, because they have a 2-story Arby's.
He's a madman for the beef and cheddar, man. He is.
Yeah, but it really humanizes him though. His love for Arby's. It's like, yeah, he wasn't such a bad guy. He loved Arby's.
Right. Yeah, he humanizes him. I feel like when he gets there and he does the job, and like now he has the Arby's, he realizes he needs someone to run it.
That's true.
Well,
yeah. Like, I need to get people to run this.
I remember I was worried that I wasn't gonna have anything to talk about, with North Korea not really being in the news. But I've got Iraq. Hello, I've got the Soviet Union. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a tumultuous time.
I don't have the Soviet Union very much longer. Then.
No.
Yeah.
But I got them. I'm gonna use them.
Yeah.
September 18th, the International Olympic Committee awards the 1996 Summer Olympics to Atlanta. The city of Atlanta's marketing campaign slogan of 96 Olympics is going to be the bomb. Proved to be disastrous. October 5th, Tim Berners-Lee begins his work on the Wide World Web 19 months after his seminal 1989 outline of what would become the web concept. First thing on Tim's agenda, porn. October 14th, Leonard Bernstein dies of a heart attack at his home in New York City. He was an American conductor, composer, pianist, music educator, author, and humanitarian, considered to be one of the most important conductors of his time. He was the first American conductor to receive international acclaim. Bernstein was the recipient of many honors, including 7 Emmy Awards, 2 Tony Awards, 16 Grammy Awards, including Lifetime Achievement Award and the Kennedy Center Honor. His best-known work is the Broadway musical West Side Story. A lifelong humanitarian, Bernstein worked in support of civil rights, protested against the Vietnam War, advocated nuclear disarmament, raised money for HIV/AIDS research and awareness, and engaged in multiple international initiatives for human rights and world peace. Near the end of his life, he conducted a historic performance of Beethoven's Symphony No. 9 in Berlin to celebrate the fall of the Berlin Wall. The concert was televised live worldwide on Christmas Day in 1989. No joke for that. Great man.
That's
really
awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man.
That dude's a legend.
Yep.
Well, if he's so great, how come he's dead?
Good point, Brad.
That is a great question.
That is.
I want to know.
Yeah. We'll get to the bottom of that, I swear.
Okay.
I remember, the REM song, It's the End of the World,
Yes.
Leonard Bernstein's in that song with like Lenny Bruce. It's all the LBs.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so-
right.
Leonard Bernstein.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only lyric I know.
Just as he had wanted it. Yeah. Yeah. So, yep, that is our timeline for the year 1990. Things will be getting more interesting as it goes along. Oh, that's another thing I learned in the year 1990. McDonald's, like Pizza Hut, all these Western like food chains started moving east. They go to like Russia got McDonald's for the first time. China got McDonald's for the first time. The eastern part is just becoming more westernized in a lot of ways for the very first time with the fall of the Soviet Union and communist China and all that stuff. Not really the fall, but just like the opening up with trading with communist China. Allows for this sort of stuff to happen. So this is like the first year that was like a big thing.
Yeah, when we started infecting the world.
Exactly. Eating out from the inside. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Just don't put an Arby's there because Saddam will attack you. So.
Oh yeah.
Notice how there were no Arby's in Russia. And we will now move to the entertainment part of 1990. Excited for this. The top 10 movies in terms of gross for the year 1990. Number 10 was Back to the Future Part 3.
Yeah.
Classic movie.
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I used to think that was the worst one of the series, but honestly, I think it's my favorite.
Yeah, the whole Western thing is really just a nice touch.
Yeah.
I think, it would go 1 first for me, then 3, and then 2, my least favorite of the 3, but I still love it, so it's not like a thing.
Sure. Yeah. They're all great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 9, we had Driving Miss Daisy.
I never saw it.
I never saw it either. I believe it won like Best Picture over something that should have actually won.
Isn't that like about the racist guy who then learns that black people are real people and he's not so racist anymore, right? Something like that.
No, that's a totally different
changed guy to
movie.
woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Miss Daisy, Driving Miss Daisy. It's I don't know the guy's name, but it's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
He's driving this elderly lady, and she's a bit snarky, a bit of the old racist, and by gone it, he does his job, and he won't leave her, and they become best of buds. So
Of course.
I see. Okay.
Number 8 probably could have been in worst movies of the year. Dick Tracy. This movie scared the shit out of me.
I never saw it.
Yeah, and I never saw it because it scared the shit out of me. But it's got like Al Pacino in it and a bunch of other people, but they got this like weird makeup on. It's kind of gross looking.
Yeah, is it supposed to like kind of look like a comic book or something like that, or look like a kind of like a cartoon or something?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of cartoony. Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out like the year before. So
so they're trying to do something like that.
Yeah, in that vein.
Yeah.
Number 7, Die Hard 2. 1990, Die Hard 2. And my favorite thing about Die Hard 2 is the Die Hard 2 made for TV.
Yeah.
He's got the lighter at the end, and the fuel from the plane is on the snow on the plane track and all that stuff. And he goes to light it, and finally he gets it lit. And in the movie, unedited, he says, what does he say? Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah.
What does he say?
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay,
he says-
motherfucker. But in the TV version, he says, Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, and then lights the fire, and the fire goes all the way down and blows up the plane. Doesn't have the same sort of,
Mr.
effect,
Falcon.
but he's very polite
I
at
love
the end.
that. Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. And
Wasn't the bad guy like? Yeah, wasn't his name Mr. Falcon or something Falcon, right?
I believe so. Yeah. So
okay.
it's just,
So at least it's appropriate.
It had some continuity.
oh,
yeah.
for sure.
It would have been even funnier if it didn't, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
come
just
on.
called him another Mr. Brown or whatever. Who?
Yeah, the first 3 Die Hard movies are all very good, I think.
People like to say the first one's a Christmas movie. I could care. Yeah, they're not bad. I
Not sure
don't think
if I've
I've
seen
really
the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a Vengeance, with Samuel L. Jackson.
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Oh, it's good.
Is that where they're in like New York City?
I think so. Yeah.
I think I have seen that one actually. Now I think I've seen that once. Yeah. Driving a taxi through like off-roading a taxi.
Maybe.
Sounds like
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's definitely yeah.
We got something for number 6 here. Total Recall in 1990. Total Recall.
Yes.
Any favorite parts of Total Recall, Brad?
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah, it's Paul Verhoeven, who also did RoboCop and Starship Troopers, Basic Instinct. I feel like I'm missing one. But yeah, a favorite part of Total Recall, when Schwarzenegger is getting shot at and he grabs a guy and uses him as a human shield, and his chest just explodes with bullets. Because all Verhoeven's movies are so over the top gory.
Mm-hmm.
Just oh man, I love it.
I've seen that movie. I know I've seen it once. I've seen it, I think, maybe twice all the way through. The ending part where I think he's having a dream, Schwarzenegger, and he thinks that like his helmet breaks or something like that, where he's exposed to Mars and he's losing
it's the very
air.
beginning, yeah.
Okay, and his eyeballs pop out of his head, and it freaked
Did that happen?
Fuck out.
That happens multiple times.
Yeah, I was like, I can't take this. Ugh, the eyeballs popping.
Yeah, the whole dream thing. Yeah, there's kind of at the end of the movie, you kind of don't know. Like, was he just like, were these just implanted memories the whole time, or did it actually happen? You don't really know at the end. So it has that aspect to it where it's kind of
that's really cool. That's probably like one of the best things about it. I'd say that you just don't know.
Yeah.
Next, number 5. Tried to watch this movie the other night. Seemed all right. Seemed kind of weird though, considering the acting or people who were chosen to act these parts. The Hunt for Red October. Now I get Alec Baldwin, but I don't get Sean Connery as a Russian submarine commander. I mean, why does this guy? He seems to always get put in roles that just like it's not him. He's not a Spaniard or something like that in Highlander.
Right.
Yeah. And now he's a Russian. The guy.
I've never seen it, but does he just have his normal Sean Connery voice?
Yes, he does.
But he's Russian. Okay.
But he's Russian.
All right. Well.
Yeah. It's just
you just can't get that guy to do an accent besides his own.
Yeah. Surprised they didn't have. He's not like a Dubai prince in a movie or something.
That's believable. Yeah. Number 4 for top 10 movies in terms of gross for the year 1990. Probably my favorite movie as a kid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have seen that movie.
Oh yeah, the live action.
200 times. Yes.
Yeah, that's
love
a good
that
one.
movie.
I could probably quote the entire movie. I have seen it countless times. I know every little mistake. It just like in the scene where Raphael and Leonardo are talking, about going out looking for Splinter, and Raphael's like something like, "So that's the plan from our great leader, huh? Just sit here on our butts," And Leonardo's like, "I never said it was a great lead." "Well, you sure act like it sometimes," And they're fighting back and forth. And in the corner, you see one of the crew members just huddled in the corner, like it's just this random guy. You're like, who's that guy? What's he doing there? They're ninjas. They don't notice that,
Right.
At the end with Shredder and Splinter, as Splinter's standing on the building, and he looks up and he's just like, "Orokosaki, yes, I know who you are, Now I will finish what began with your ear." And he's like, he just starts shouting at the guy and running at him like he's a ninja. This is the best movie he's got. If you look up above, you'll see the tarp behind Splinter isn't up all the way and the camera's up too far, something like that. You can see the set behind the screen. So you can see that they're not actually in a building anywhere doing anything. It's just a set. Totally, Then the rat takes him, flips him around, and says that famous line. For me, it's famous. The death comes for us all, Orokosaki. That's just. I love that movie. It's so.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That's a whole epic scene right there, where all the turtles get beat.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And then Shredder seems like he's won, but then Splinter comes in and he's got this wisdom.
And he's
You
like
know,
this frail little
and
rat
he takes
that's
him
got,
out like it's
yeah.
literally does like it's nothing.
He hasn't been eating. He's been gotten the shit kicked out of him for like 3 weeks, something like
Right.
that, or like a month.
Yeah.
And he's able to, just. But the music in that movie. The funny thing about that movie was originally supposed to be punk rock music. It's supposed to have a punk rock soundtrack. It was supposed to be punk centric in that sense. But at the last minute, they switched it to a hip hop rap type thing. So that's why you have hip hop music throughout the whole movie. So, but anyway, out Danny, the kid in that movie, he's wearing a Sex Pistols t-shirt. That's the reason. So, a lot of little things I know about that movie.
Maybe one of the first movies I watched as a little kid with like cursing.
Right, me too. I was allowed to watch it. Yeah,
like when Raphael's chasing after that mugger or whatever. He's like, I'm not finished with you yet. Then it cuts to the city. You just hear, damn.
Yeah.
It was like, oh,
yeah.
He said a bad word. He yelled a bad word into the city.
The guy,
you could hear it everywhere.
He's so loud. He gets throughout the city. You can hear him over New York. That is the loudest dam in the history of dams.
Right.
But when he rolls over the cab in that movie, the guy was like, "What the heck was that?" Looked like a giant turtle. What the heck was that? Is the guy who plays Raphael's voice. He's Raphael.
Really?
The guy who goes for the Domino's pizza, and he's like 222 and an 8, 222 and an 8.
Yeah.
I believe that's Michelangelo.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. Donatello is Corey. What's his name? He's one of the Coreys. Corey Feldman. In that movie, and Leonardo, he's also in that movie. I can't think of what scene he's in, but yeah, they have like cameos, so pretty interesting little things I picked up in the years of watching that movie repeatedly.
I was gonna say, you know a lot about this movie.
Yep, and there's more.
It's a great movie.
We'll move on.
Great.
Number 3, Home Alone. Number 3, Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Home Alone, man, that's classic.
Is it
just a classic
really
movie.
good.
Yeah.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Yep. Oh, I love that line.
Just so many.
I love that line.
What an asshole.
I like to say that to my adult friends. Merry Christmas,
John,
you filthy animal.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, yeah.
And
get out of here, you nosy little pervert, or I'm gonna slap you silly.
Well, that's Home Alone too, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, that is Home with the talk boy.
Yeah.
Credit card,
that is Home Alone too.
you got it.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's that same like uncle or whatever.
Thing. Yep.
That's the shit.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
That's like the shithead.
Uncle Cheapskate. Yeah.
You
You better not ruin my trip, little guy. Your dad's paying good money for it.
Great score by John Williams in Home Alone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love the music in that movie.
I like the, what is it? The bum dun 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 dun.
Yes,
that
Christopher
Carol
Columbus film.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, it's just
we had just talking about that with 2009 because John Hughes died in 2009.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I believe they use a. We were actually just talking about this at work the other day. Did they used a real tarantula in that movie? So like the actor that played
Daniel
Stern
or whatever.
Yeah.
He had to get was that his real reaction to a spider on his face? Like a tarantula?
Maybe.
What?
I don't know.
No, I think that's acting.
He probably isn't a fan, but he probably hammed it up, just for the camera. But Joe Pesci.
Christopher Columbus is real risky there, man. Using the tarantula.
Yeah.
And also the picture of Buzz's girlfriend that Macaulay Culkin goes, Buzz's girlfriend, woof.
Yeah.
That's actually a picture of a boy.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Like one of someone who worked on the movie's son or whatever.
Oh,
just because it would be so mean to do that to some girl,
I think John Hughes or Christopher Columbus, one of them felt bad about that joke and had him do that instead. So
right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's slightly better.
It's a
but they're okay with all the violence near the end.
Of course.
But you can't do that.
That's the
draw. God, the foot into the nail. That is so hard to watch even now.
I mean, those guys should have died within the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, they should have been killed 10 times over.
Yeah, for sure.
Why the hell did you take your shoes off? Why the hell you dress like a chicken? You know.
Yeah. I love my favorite line I think in that movie is when when he like he like zip lines to his treehouse.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
yes.
he's like, I'm gonna call the cops. And he's like, quick, he's gonna call the cops. He's like, what? Call the cops from a treehouse?
Yeah, the way that he delivers that line is hilarious.
So
Joe
good,
Pesci.
man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
okay,
yeah,
right
Yeah.
before that line is my favorite line. Well, where I think he zip lines across and they come up and they don't know where he went. It's like, where'd he go? And then Daniel Stern's like, maybe he committed suicide. It's so good.
Oh, I love that movie. It's so good.
Oh man.
From a treehouse.
The
I'm right here, you horse's ass.
Joe Pesci was gonna eat his fingers at some point.
Right,
He's gonna bite his
yeah.
fingers off. It's got
Yeah.
cannibalism going on.
Right,
The sticky
yeah.
bandits, the wet bandits. Oh my
Oh,
god.
Yeah.
Such a good.
It's just great.
Such a good.
Great.
Yeah. We'll move on here because we could talk about that for hours. Or,
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe at least another half an hour. Let's be honest. Number 2, Pretty Woman. Number 2 movie of the year, Pretty Woman. Never seen
saw
it. The thing that I know about Pretty Woman is that Jason Alexander plays a rather unlikable person in that movie and got hate mail for years after because people thought that was him. People can't.
Oh wow.
It's part of that parasocial thing where people can't separate
Right.
the person from the act. He's just like, where they're just like, you are that, and he's pretty horribly basically tries to like assault Julia Roberts by like at the end of the movie at some scene or whatever. But yeah. I don't really know much about them. I know that in Toddlers and Tiaras or whatever, one of the moms had their daughter, the little kid, dress up like Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman.
That's right. And she's
That's what I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The prostitute. Yes, that's how her little kid. And the number 1 movie of the year, 1990, Ghost. Never saw it.
Oh yeah.
With Demi Moore, I believe, and Patrick Swayze.
Mm-hmm.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It's what's that? The Righteous Brothers Unchained Melody song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People took up clay potting or whatever the hell they call it.
Pottery.
Pottery. Let's do that.
Pottery, clay potting or whatever.
Pottery.
Pottery?
Yeah.
With the pottery table that spins and you
Yeah.
you sensually caress the wet clay into the shape.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just like Top Gun.
Have you guys ever done that? I've never done
Nope.
that.
No. Had I seen Ghost and I was of age, I absolutely would have been jumped on that. The bandwagon.
Whoa, this is pretty hot.
Pottery bandwagon. Yeah. But we will move on to
Pottery bandwagon.
personal film selections of 1990. My own personal film selections here. And the first one, I think maybe the greatest film of all time. Number 1, Goodfellas.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Not in the top 10 of grossing movies of the year, notice. Not in the top 10.
Right.
But yeah, 1990,
Yeah.
Goodfellas.
Oh yeah.
From the opening line to the last line, it is a perfect movie. It's a movie I literally could just sit down and watch. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's just always captivating. It's always, I could see it 100 times and I still find it fresh in some ways.
Would you say that's Scorsese's best flick?
It might be. I think I wouldn't. Yeah, I could say that easily. Yeah, I wouldn't have too much of a difficulty saying that's Scorsese's magnum opus. That's his best work.
Right.
It's just a timeless classic. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. Easily my favorite gangster movie. Just excellent. If you guys have anything to add to Goodfellas, maybe a specific scene that you guys liked or something. If not, we can just move on to another personal film selection of mine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, Goodfellas. I just always remember him. Like before he got really big into like the scene, he like went over to the guy across the street and like beat the hell out of him. I always remember that scene.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, Goodfellas is great. I haven't seen it as much as I've seen other Scorsese films.
Yeah,
like I've seen Casino more.
Casino's great. It was a great movie. Yeah. Okay. One of my, the you're funny, and he's like, how am I funny? I make you laugh. I'm a clown. I amuse you. That whole
Oh
scene
yeah.
between Joe Pesci and God, he just passed away. It's not. I can't think of his name. It's gonna drive me. I'm just trying.
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Yes, Ray
Yeah, Ray
Liotta.
Liotta.
Ray
Yeah.
Liotta and Joe Pesci. That scene is that's ad libbed, if I'm not mistaken. And Joe Pesci got that idea from an instance that something that happened to him when he was younger, where the other person was saying, "I'm a clown. I amuse you." What do you mean I'm funny?
Right.
And this guy is such a loose cannon. You just every time Joe Pesci's on the screen, he steals every scene. He just yeah, he's crazy intimidating. I would not want to be in the same city as that guy. He just, I mean, someone didn't bring him water, and on a whim, he just shot the kid in the foot, and then the kid comes back and tells him, go fuck yourself, and just as a joke, come on, like respect me now.
Right.
I mean, and he says, and everyone starts laughing at him, and Joe Pesci's character just can't take it, and he shoots the kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, clean up the body, take care of him, and just that ending, I pretty sure, yeah, it's Goodfellas. I get Casino and Goodfellas, sometimes I get them confused, but I'm pretty sure it's Joe Pesci's character is going to get made, and they take him to a room, and instead of like getting made where he becomes a made man, one of the mob, forever, he gets shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And then Robert De Niro's character finds out about it because that was his way in, and it all goes to shit. Yeah. Just an amazing movie. We'll move on now. Another pick of mine, personal pick, Miller's Crossing.
Oh yeah, that's Coen Brothers.
That's a
right?
Coen Brothers film.
I never saw that one actually.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it either.
Yeah, Miller's Crossing. I recommend that one. Another movie. Poor guy just passed away as well. Movie Misery with Kathy Bates and James Caan, where he gets hobbled is the scene that just like I can't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That whole
It was
movie.
incredible, man. I mean, that was the first Stephen King book I read, and that was also the first like movie that I watched that I read the book first before I watched the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like so Kathy Bates like blew me away. Like she was the best. Like you couldn't have her play, you know what I mean? Like Annie Wilkes was her character.
That's what I'm saying. What's that Hulu show that had it based off of her? What's the name of that? I can't think of the name of the movie or the show. I don't remember. I know what you mean though. It was Ann Wilkes like in her younger years. Yes.
And that lady did well,
Very good.
Really well.
That's big shoes to fill, Yeah.
Oh, it's Castle Rock.
Castle Rock.
Castle Rock season 1 is centered, I'm not sure exactly on what. I can't remember what book. The second one is definitely Annie Wilkes. It's on her past life, and like what she was doing before Misery. How she gets involved in that author anyway to begin with. The whole thing is a lot of lore in that regard is really revealed in that show. So we'll move on to another movie I saw recently for the first time, within the past year. The movie Awakenings with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams.
Oh man, what a great movie that was.
Yep. So yeah, Robert De Niro had Awakenings and Goodfellas in the same year.
Wow.
Yeah, and that movie is an amazing movie. Some of the things that happen in that movie, I feel we will touch upon in the beneficial sounds of music.
Right.
Things that will go on to that. But
I think that my favorite scene in that movie is, I mean, there's several great scenes, but I think the really funny scene that I thought was great, that was just like made me go, okay, yeah, Robin Williams was a great choice for this. Is he is running down the hall because he just heard that one of his patients had woken up in a sense, and he's like ecstatic, and he's freaking out with energy, and he's running towards the patient, and he's like, "Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses?" And they're on his.
Oh right,
and they were just on his face.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, they're on my face." Okay. It's so good.
Pretty sure you said that was ad libbed, or is that? I'm pretty sure that was ad libbed. I mean, it's Rob Williams. It's Rob Williams.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't. Yeah.
So if you've never seen it, I don't want to give too much away, but Excellent movie. It's on Netflix right now, I believe. Awakenings.
Oh,
Personal
okay.
film
I'll check it
selection
out.
of
Definitely.
1990. Edward Scissorhands. Probably one of the
Mm-hmm.
few Tim Burton films that I actually like. I think it's a good movie. I'm not a big
Right.
Tim Burton fan. I just not.
All right.
Um, I think his
Yeah.
is it just it once you get the aesthetic, do you really need every movie with that same aesthetic? Is it
Right.
and is
Right.
it always
Right.
the same actors and actresses with them? It's just like the same movie just
That's
shuffled.
true. Yeah.
Um,
It's like that he lost, like he had a good vision,
mhm.
made a couple movies that were really good with that aesthetic, and then kind of just repeated the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's
Yeah.
kind of my view on him.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
I don't think he's like a terrible director. I just it's kind
No,
of
me
just like
neither.
he's
I
just
enjoy that aesthetic when it's done well in certain movies that he's done.
yeah.
Um, and you know what's weird is I mean, it hasn't really anything related, but I watched that movie Matilda
Oh
the other
right,
day,
yeah.
and I haven't watched it for the longest time. And I know it's directed by Danny DeVito, but
Mhm.
it was pretty cool to see. It's most certainly has some influence, you
Um,
know.
the Roald Dahl book that it's based off of, the guy who
Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
yeah that I wonder if Tim Burton like got some of inspiration from that author in his books and stuff like that. I wonder if
That's
that'd be
interesting to think
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Another movie. We'll move on here for personal selections. The movie Tremors. The
Oh
Oh,
movie
my God.
Tremors came
hey,
out in
I just
1990.
watched that not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah, it's good.
favorite Tremors scene? Go ahead, Brad.
Oh man, I don't know. I really really liked. Let's see, there was a part in the store when they were coming underneath and all the shelves were falling over.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah,
Think the-
didn't they use? Yeah, they used little RC cars to. Right, that's the first Tremors, right?
You're
I've
right.
seen a
That's
lot
the
of
first
those
Tremors.
movies.
Yeah.
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 The mentor, the grandpa from Three Ninjas is the guy who gets like
Mhm.
eaten first.
That's who that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, because he's got like the one wonky, he has
Yeah.
like the wonky eye.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do I recognize that guy? Where is he from? Three Ninjas.
Three
of
Ninjas.
course.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, well, thanks.
And then you got Kevin Bacon, Reba McEntire,
Mhm.
and Bert, who basically takes over the series as it goes along.
Mhm.
Just Kevin Bacon and his yeah, and the other guy.
Hmm.
I forget the actor's name. But
He
those
just passed
two
away
together
too, actually.
are those two together are I don't know, it's just funny.
Hmm.
They're just funny guys together.
Yeah. That movie kind of terrified me in a way. Just the idea of getting pulled under the dirt like that.
Oh yeah.
But I watched that movie a lot when I was younger too. We had it like recorded on VHS, and I would watch it from time to time. So,
Mhm.
another movie
The
that
TV version.
yes, of course.
Mhm.
I couldn't. We had so many that were like the TV version that
All right.
there are large parts of movies that I didn't even realize I was
Mhm.
missing the whole time. So there's some movie, I think it's in the 80s. It's definitely in the 80s. I might talk about if and when we get there. Another movie I had a hard time watching, although I think it's a good movie. It's just I have such a fear of these little insects, these creatures, that it's hard for me to watch it. Arachnophobia came out in
Oh
1990.
yeah.
John
Yeah,
Goodman's
that's good.
character is the best,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels is great in that movie too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
who it is. It's Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
Wasn't that Jeff Daniels' like first big like breakout movie though too?
No, the movie
If I
before
remember.
that was he had a movie in the 80s that he won like an Oscar for, I believe.
Oh okay.
Um, and Arachnophobia I think was like immediately after that or close to it. Like when he
Gotcha.
did Dumb and Dumber, they were telling him not to do it because
Mhm.
he's known as a serious actor who's done
Right,
these
I
like
remember that,
great
yeah.
so
But he wanted to be known to have
just
yeah.
Also, Mimi from the Drew Carey show is in Arachnophobia. Her and her husband die watching Wheel of Fortune while she's eating popcorn.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. Also, it terrified me to reach in boxes. I couldn't take a shower for the longest time
Yeah.
without closing my eyes. I just like constantly worried that a spider was going to leap out and bite me, and then that was it. In my
Yeah.
bed, sleeping, anytime I felt anything move. And occasionally, very rarely, but occasionally, it actually would be a spider. So it would prove all my fears true. So it was just like something I couldn't get over. It was really difficult.
Right. Yeah.
And my last pick for personal selections for 1990, the movie Kindergarten Cop.
Man.
This movie is great. It's a mixture of action, comedy. It's got a sweetness to it. It's got all that. It's a very well put together movie, and it's probably not that good really, but for me, nostalgia glosses this over. Where it's just like who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah,
Of course.
It's just I use that so many times for prank phone calls.
Right.
I have a
The
certain affinity,
soundboard.
the soundboard for it. I just have an affinity for it.
Mhm.
I'm Detective John Kimball.
Yeah.
I'm a cop, you idiot. It's
Yeah.
it's so good, and it's not. I know it's not, but come on, it's Kindergarten
Yeah.
Cop.
I mean, oh God, it is hysterical, man. It is a funny ass movie.
Yeah,
because it's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Do
you know that when he's like the new kindergarten teacher because his partner's got like the flu, or something like that, and like one of his first days there's all those mothers gathered around, like that's the new kindergarten teacher, and they start like adjusting their hair and their clothes and stuff like that, and then one of the women is like, oh my god, I don't have my makeup on or something like that, and she's like, and the other woman's like, what do you care? And she's like, well, you're married, you're allowed to look like crap. The woman who says you're married but you're allowed to look like crap, that's George Costanza's wife, Susan, from Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, okay,
okay.
Yeah, so a little bit of that. That's that actress's work before Seinfeld. I'm sure she's did other things, but I always remember. I saw that movie after watching Seinfeld a bunch, and I was like, hey, look, it's fucking Susan. So,
right.
Yep. All right, those are my picks for 1990. If you guys have any other movies that I didn't mention that you think should be mentioned, feel free. If not, we'll move ahead to worst movies.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
So worst movies, I've got Ernest Goes to Jail. Not even kidding you. It's in my worst movies category.
Why would it be in worst movies?
Because
true,
I can only
man.
do Kindergarten Cop. I can't do both. It's either
Right.
Kindergarten Cops and worst movies, and Ernest Goes to Jail is in a movie I suggest.
Okay, well,
that you can't suggest an Ernest movie.
I can't.
all right, well,
no,
go on.
In good faith.
In
good faith.
Yeah. When we get to Ernest Scared Stupid, that'll be in selections. You need to watch Ernest Scared Stupid.
have
But
to
Ernest
watch
Goes
that,
to Jail is actually in my worst movies. But if you want to talk about why you like Ernest Goes to Jail, feel free. Go ahead. Explain this.
God, there's no reason why I like it. I just do.
I would watch it too. Probably wouldn't watch the whole thing. I'd be like, is there anything else on? I mean, I got my 20 minutes out of this movie.
What I like is Jim Varney plays two parts,
Right, he's the
he
tough.
plays his he's the cool talking doppelganger version.
Right.
Yeah. So
yes,
that shows like a range of acting on Jim Varney's part.
He plays a woman too. In that movie.
Oh, he plays
he
he plays a Roman centurion as well.
Right,
he plays all sorts of characters.
Yep, he does. He does.
My favorite.
That's still just Ernest.
Yeah.
He actually plays like another guy, a type of and it's good. Like it shows him. Well, he can do like a serious role.
Jim Varney is a classically trained actor, Shakespearean.
Yes, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. My favorite scene in Ernest Goes to Jail is when he's on the jury and he's biting on the pen.
Oh God, the pen!
And the pen breaks off into his
God.
mouth, and he's just like, and he's just dripping ink everywhere, and he starts eating paper. He's just chewing on it.
Fucking gross.
Dude, that was an Oscar-winning scene right there.
The judge looks over. He's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm very well, thank you." And he's got his hands crossed, but he's just covered in ink. He's clearly not okay. And it cracks me up in that movie. Fucking hell.
See, it is a great movie.
Okay, take it off worst movies. I'm gonna put it in suggestions. I'm gonna tell people to watch Ernest Goes to Jail.
You should.
All right, now for worst movies, we will get to
Ernest Goes to Jail. Just do it anyways.
Ernest Goes back to jail. Ernest breaks parole. Worst movies. Look Who's Talking 2. The sequel with the talking babies. And this one's got Bruce Willis, and his little sister is voiced by Roseanne, I believe. If it's either that one or it's this one with the one. There's also one with I think it's Look Who's Talking Now is the one with the dogs, which is just
Right.
it's just yeah. But Look Who's Talking too. What any sort of
Ugh.
it's just no good. Yeah, the Christy Alley, John Travolta, and it just I don't know. Yeah,
Well, I
another.
know.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Isn't the man? I don't really remember those movies, but at the beginning of one of those, it just shows like a like microscopic view of like sperm swimming around and going into an egg.
That's the first one, I believe. It could be
That's
the
the
second
first
one
one?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know it's got like
That
Bruce Willis's voice in the background. Go on. Sorry.
that it just always weirded me out as a kid.
Yeah, yeah, I think me too. That was one of those things. Um, I remember my parents being like, it's so close that he can't really tell what it is. We know what it is. Still, it's a bit weird that they're showing
Right.
this in a movie, but it's not like he's gonna know what's going on. So
Yeah, you're not
uh,
seeing penetration. You're
no,
seeing
it's a shame.
yeah.
You know, the Look Who's Talking
Yeah.
Forever, full penetration. Let's see that movie. Um, Worst movies, though, we will get to Rocky Five. Rocky Five came out in 1990, and that
I've
is the one
never
with
seen it, but I believe it.
Tommy Gunn. He fights a guy named Tommy Gunn,
Oh
and
my
they
god.
they fight out in the parking lot at like the end of the movie, and he just
Is
has
that
it
the
decking out with no
one?
gloves.
Is that the one with the robot? The robot maid?
The
Or is
second,
it?
no, that's the third movie.
That's 3. Okay.
Yeah, that's the third one.
What is happening in that series?
Rocky
I don't
Five.
know.
Well, the robot, if I'm not mistaken, someone on set had like an autistic kid, and they liked the robot, so they kept the robot around, and they just Sylvester Stallone did a pound of cocaine and decided he wanted it in the movie. So,
Right, yeah. All
he
right.
thought that they really had good chemistry, him and a robot. So,
I don't know.
but
It's
Rocky
weird.
Five is it's got that fake that was a Don King character who's supposed to be Don King, and he's managing Tommy Gunn, and it's a lot of Adrian. His Rocky's wife is dead. He's his son, and him are estranged. It's a whole lot of shit. But Rocky Five, worst movies. Another worst movie. I've got two more. This one is fucking terrible. I've seen it a few times. Completely shit. This movie came out in
Mhm.
1990. It is called
Oh boy.
Ghost Dad.
No, no.
Oh, the
I
Bill
knew you
Cos-
were gonna
Bill
talk
Cosby
about
movie?
Ghost
Yeah.
Dad, dude.
Bill Cosby.
I knew you were gonna bring up Ghost Dad.
Fucking Ghost Dad. So, if I'm not
that's
mistaken,
funny.
he's like a workaholic type deal. He doesn't have time for his kids and wife and all that shit. And he nearly escapes death in the first like 20 minutes of the movie. An elevator collapses just as he's getting off. These sort of cartoon Looney Tunes type things. And then finally he's in a cab getting driven home. There's some sort of mix up on a bridge where the cab like spins out, and he opens up the door to get out of the cab, and he falls off the bridge into his death. And then
Yeah.
he returns as a ghost to go talk to his kids. And being a ghost, he realizes what he missed out on being as a father and all that shit. And it's just it's a shitty movie. Ghost Dad. Yeah.
Not, I'm trying to see if there's any correlation between Ghost Dad and Ghost. They came out around the same time. June 29th for Ghost Dad, and then July, what is it, 14th? July 13th for Ghost. So, I don't know. They're both made at like the same time.
Yeah, it happens. It's like Deep Impact and I don't know. Was Armageddon?
And Armageddon, yeah.
Yeah. Ghost Dad. Bill Cosby. That's all I need to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost Dad. And now for worst movie of 1990. Probably the best worst movie. Was the best worst movie until The Room came about. But it is still a very bad movie. Troll 2, the worst movie of 1990.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this movie is a dumpster fire that is joyful to watch, somewhat. I actually kind of get sick of and I mean like actually sick, like nauseous from all the green goop and crap that goes on. It's just really weird directorial. So the story behind
It's
Troll
so
2
weird.
is it's a sequel called, it's Troll 2, but it's a sequel to nothing, because it doesn't follow the movie Troll at all. In fact, in Troll 2, there are no trolls. There are only goblins.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it can't even be. I mean, the whole title is misleading. It's neither a sequel nor have anything to do with trolls. And I love that right off the bat. Directed by an Italian only speaking director, and the cast and crew were English only speaking. Or it was, oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. The cast was English speaking, and the crew
Mhm.
of the film were entirely Italians who spoke
Oh
no
my god.
English. So there is a communication just non existent. And you can see that throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
a scene where they go to Nilbog, the town of Nilbog, which, if you put up to a mirror, you realize is goblin backwards.
Which
Didn't see-
the kid says.
Yes.
Nilbog, it's goblin backwards.
Right? Oh my god.
God damn it, Brad.
There's so many little things in this movie that are just all-time great. This movie started my love for bad movies. I saw like a YouTube video of a line reading from this movie that was like, I have to see this, and I rented it on Netflix. This is back when you got discs from Netflix. I rented it because I
Right.
had to watch it. And that
Yeah.
line is when obviously the kid's like, they're eating her. Then they're going to eat me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And you can see that he's clearly reading a cue card.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it's just so fucking stupid and bad. And I just had to watch it. And yeah, you can't piss on hospitality. I won't
Oh
allow
yeah,
it.
that's good.
You know, when
There's that.
Grandpa Seth, the kid sees his dead
Oh,
grandpa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's that scene where it's the main bad woman, and it was like,
Oh,
what-
right.
It was like a piece of Stonehenge or something, right?
Yeah, yep.
It got
And-
into some weird occult shit,
Mhm.
but she was like making out with that guy in the RV, and popcorn started popping everywhere.
Yeah, because she
You
like
remember that?
Yeah, she brought like a what is it? A corn cob, and they started eating the cob of corn together, and then all of a sudden it started
Oh,
popping,
yeah.
and then he turned to like popcorn, and he started, I don't know, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre movie.
And so there's a guy in one of the stores in Nilbog. You can tell you're not sure if he's acting that he's crazy or if he's actually not all there. He's not all there because he had literally been released from a mental institution. And got his way onto the film and acts in one scene, and you can tell that he's not probably right to be around people. He needs to be on medication and like in therapy. But nope, the Italians probably didn't pick that up. They let him in on the movie. The mom, when the kid who was in the movie, the one who pissed on hospitality, quite literally, he made a documentary about the whole thing called Best Worst Movie Ever, which I believe Brad mentioned in one of the years 2000s that we were talking about.
Oh yeah, because it came out that particular year.
So that's a good documentary. I recommend watching it if you're interested in Troll 2. I know it's in one of my worst. It's the worst movie of 1990, easily. It's probably one of the worst movies of the decade, if not obvious. But Troll 2 is The Room-esque, where it's worth watching at least once. Make sure, do what you got to do to make it enjoyable. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah.
Do what you got to do. All right. We will now move to top albums in terms of gross for 1990.
Ooh.
I don't believe I have 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I have 8. Partly because, like, albums, at least back in this time, actually sold, and they sold for weeks at a time. So, like, for
Right.
3 months, we'd have one album as the number one album, and then for another 2, you'd have a different one. So they took up all the time.
Okay.
So it was only 8 in terms of number one albums of 1990, and the 8 number one albums of 1990, number 8 being New Kids on the Block, Step by Step. Number 7.
Sorry, these are the top 8.
Yeah, so in terms of albums, New Kids on the Block
this-
came out with Step by Step, and it reached number 1 in album sales for a number of weeks. It's the
Was that,
least
like-
amount of weeks out
Was
of
it
the
like their
rest of them.
first?
No,
Was it like their first album or
I
something?
don't
Oh, no.
believe so. I believe they had one like
No, I think
88.
it started in the 80s.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
they
think-
started in the 80s.
I
Yeah.
think it was
think so.
88, I think.
Right.
So New Kids on the Block, Step by Step. 7, Milli Vanilli, Girl, You Know It's True.
This is gonna be bad.
6,
This is
Phil-
all just gonna be bad.
you like number 8's New Kids. 7 is Milli Vanilli. So 7 we have,
Right.
or 6 we have Phil Collins at number 6. But Seriously, the album. But Seriously, number 6, Phil Collins. Number 5,
Was
Bonnie.
that a good album?
I think it had
Undivided
a
what?
"Let It
It must
Rain
have
on
been, I
Me"
guess.
song with Eric Clapton on the
Let's
solo.
still
Um,
remember. Yeah,
Bonnie
I know.
Raitt, "Nick of Time," the album "Nick of Time" by Bonnie Raitt. Um,
Who?
we had Sinead O'Connor, "I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got," the album with the single that she got from Prince, "Nothing Compares to
Oh,
You."
nothing compares to you. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Number three, top albums in terms of gross of 1990. Number three was Vanilla Ice, "To the Extreme."
Oh my
Uh,
god.
Number two was Paula Abdul, "Forever Your Girl."
Mm-hmm.
And the number one album of 1990 is MC Hammer. Please, Hammer,
Oh no.
don't hurt him.
Wow.
No.
Don't hurt him.
I don't know why I thought the 90s would be better.
Well, this is 1990 is the worst year, I think, probably in music.
Okay.
Yeah, that or towards the later with like the pop takeover, but like grunge had not broken yet. The 80s with hair metal, it's that weird passing period. So 1990 still feels like 1989 and whatnot. But personal picks of 1990, my own personal albums in terms of picks for 1990, got Alice in Chains' debut album Facelift.
Ooh, yeah. That's good.
I've got the Pixies or Pixies Bossanova. Depeche Mode Violator.
Yo, great album.
I got Social Distortion's album Social Distortion, Ball and Chain, all that's on there. And I've got, even though I don't really listen to it, it's not my type of music per se, I know that it's a groundbreaking album, Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, as a personal pick for 1990.
Yeah.
So those are my top five for at least 1990. I'll have more in 91 and pretty much every year after this. 1990 seems to be the weird year this decade, so I hope so at least.
Facelift.
So, in terms of,
I've got a couple picks here.
Go ahead, Brad.
Got Rust in Peace by Megadeth.
Yes.
Excellent album. Heaven or Las Vegas by Cocteau Twins.
Okay. Cockatoo.
That's a great one.
Okay.
Cocktail. You
Somewhat.
got a Primus album.
Cock something.
Fizzle Fry. Cock something. Fizzle Fry by Primus.
No, okay.
And you already said Pixies. Yeah, I'll just stick with those.
I'd probably add one more to that.
Sure.
Flood, They Might Be Giants.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's the birdhouse in your soul in Istanbul, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. For worst albums, I felt kind of cheap doing it this way, but I'm just being honest. The worst albums of 1990 are the top albums of 1990. Worst albums: Vanilla Ice, To the Extreme.
Right. Yeah.
MC Hammer, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. Which is a weird. I don't know what that means. It's like is he like an aggressive person, MC Hammer? Like, how does he mean by hurt him? I don't know what that means. It's a whole thing. Must be some 90s slang. New Kids on the Block, Step by Step. Those are my three worst albums of 1990. Also, not the top three. 2 out of the top 3 selling albums of the year. Also, we will now move on to top songs of 1990. Unless you guys have an album you've just seen that you can think, well, that album sucks. Let's throw that up there. If not, we will move to top songs. All right, top songs. I don't know. Top songs it is. 1990 top song of the year, or at least one of them. I actually think it is that top song of the year. "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips. Who knows this song?
I don't know.
Have you ever seen the movie Bridesmaids? Probably not.
I think so. Maybe.
At the end, they sing that song. It's an all-women group, three women, I believe. 3-part harmonies. Basically, just a pop group. This was their big song, their one-hit wonder almost. But it was the one hit that wandered them to number one. It's like
I've never heard it.
Never heard it before?
Sounds pretty cheesy though.
Yep.
I was just listening to it.
The chorus is probably the most catchy part of that song. But "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips, number one. Number two. Oh, did you finally hear the chorus and realize?
Yes, and I do recognize it. Yep.
Was it Philip Phillips?
No, that's an American Idol guy. Wilson Phillips.
Which one's Wilson?
I don't know. Why is there 2 names with 3 people? It's weird. Maybe there's two Wilsons. Maybe there's
Well,
two Phillips.
Wilson Phillips is just one, maybe just the name of a guy, but there's no. I don't see any guys. It's just 3 women.
Yeah, it's a mystery. I don't know. I didn't dig deep into the Wilson Phillips. Maybe it's their last name.
You should have.
Maybe they're sisters and their last name's Wilson Phillips. You know, without the hyphen.
Oh.
Anyway,
That doesn't make any sense.
No, we're just gonna move on, man, because we're gonna get lost.
Okay.
Number 2, "It Must Have Been Love" by Roxette. I say, "It must have been love, but it's over now."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That song, yeah. So then we're gonna move on. Number 3, "Nothing Compares to You" by Sinead O'Connor. Yeah, Prince song that she borrowed for a minute and did quite well with it. Next song for songs of the year, "Poison" by Belle Biv DeVoe. Which is like that girl is poison. It's got this it's like this like drum beat. I don't know. Don't really know that song quite well. I know people that know that song quite well, and I am not one of them. Another song of the year, Vogue Madonna, Vogue, or that Vogue dancing. Yeah, that was all the hit, all the rage. Vision of Love by Mariah Carey was another top song of the year. Another Day in Paradise, Phil Collins, off his album But Seriously. Another Day in Paradise. Cradle of Love by Billy Idol was another top song of 1990. Another favorite of mine, here we go. Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic.
Oh, there we go.
Pump up the jam, pump it up. Then we had Black Velvet by Alana Miles.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Another favorite one is like Black Velvet and a Little Boy Smile. You know that song? Yeah. Then we got The Power by Snap. I got the power.
Man, the 1990 was
dude, that song
weird,
kicks ass.
dude.
Yeah. I got the power. I remember there used to be a channel called UPN. It might still be on, UPN.
Yeah.
And it was the Power Hour.
Yeah.
And the song for the background for their UPN Power Hour was The Power by Snap. I got the power. Just watch.
I don't know if
Martin.
UPN's still around.
I got the power. Yeah. And then we got.
God, just listen to that all fucking day. God damn it.
We got 2 more songs here. Next one here is Unskinny Bop by Poison. Unskinny Bop Bop. Yeah. That's all I know about that song. Yeah.
Okay.
It's what is it? Glam metal, hair metal, shit from the
yeah,
80s.
something like that.
Garbage.
Spewed off
metal.
into the 90s. And last song, Phil Collins, "I Wish It Would Rain," with Eric Clapton soloing on the guitar for that one, with his soaring sort of solos that he does. Yes, Phil Collins, "I Wish It Would Rain." Worst songs kind of tie in with worst albums. Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
God.
We've got You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite, Blame It on the Rain by Milli Vanilli. Blame it on the rain, yeah, yeah. It's the one where they're not actually singing. The band.
They're right.
Yeah. So Blame It on the Rain, Milli Vanilli. Worst song of 1990. TV shows that debuted in 1990. Twin Peaks. That debuted. It's a cult classic. It just got rehashed, I believe, or there was a sequel or a second season.
Something like that.
Something like that. Recently.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I've been meaning to watch it. It's like one of those shows that I definitely.
I'm surprised you
watch.
haven't watched it because you like that shit, and I don't really know what the hell's going
I
on.
like that weird shit.
Yeah,
I like not knowing what the hell's going on.
Just staring. Basically, it amounts to you just staring at a screen for about 8 hours, and I guess that's it. Yeah, I don't really know what happened, but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air debuted in 1990. Law and Order debuted in 1990. Beverly Hills 90210 debuted in 1990.
Oh, here we go.
Rugrats debuted in 1990. Are You Afraid of the Dark debuted in 1990.
Oh, nice.
Tailspin debuted in 1990. Tiny Toons debuted in 1990. My favorite cartoon, not really, but kind of. I mean, it had a sweet, what do you call it? Like main theme song. Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Oh,
Debuted
nice.
in 1990. Do you guys remember the song? How does it go? You don't?
Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to 0. That's all I know.
Do you know the next part, Nick?
I don't know any of it.
No.
Never even watched it.
So it was a cartoon developed by Ted Turner for TNT type, where he did like his big broadcasting network, stuff like that. And he was a big environmentalist, I guess you could say. So he wanted to teach kids about environmentalism. So he created a superhero called Captain Planet, and the Planeteers were the group of kids, kind of like the Power Rangers, where they each had a ring, and each ring represented like a certain thing. So we had Earth, Wind, Water, and the little foreign kid had Heart, which is probably
wasn't there fire as well? Was
fire,
yeah.
It's like Earth, Wind, Water, Fire, Heart. Like, oof. All right, man. Yeah. With these powers combined, I become Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Like, Captain Planet.
Fuck yeah.
He's a hero.
I never watched any of it.
And he's fighting on the planet side. I remember there's that cutaway scene with like the bad guys like, "You'll pay for this, Captain Planet. Planet. Planet."
Oh man. Little did we know it was just propaganda.
Little did we know.
Oh well.
The next another show that debuted in 1990, Wings. It was a classic sitcom that ran for like 6 seasons or something like that. Wings. Another debut, In Living Color. Also, Bobby's World debuted in 1990.
I remember Bobby's World.
Oh yeah.
And the show Blossom with Joey Lawrence and his famous "Whoa." Yeah, it was this. That was his big thing. Whoa! He'd go on Jay Leno and talk about. Bill Hicks has a great joke about Joey Lawrence being on Jay Leno.
I love that. Yeah,
it's
Joey Lawrence.
Yeah,
hey, it's Joey Lawrence. Everybody,
you got a girlfriend? You seen anybody?
Well, I think, but she isn't. Whoa!
Yeah, that's Joey Lawrence. He has 2 other brothers, and they would infiltrate the 90s television shows for at least the next decade, maybe 15 years. Blossom. Now we go to top TV shows of 1990, basic television. Just going to go down the list here. We've got Cheers as the number 1 show, 1990.
Okay.
Which is miles ahead of American Idol, which basically took over number 1 for all of the 2000s. 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes is number 2. 60 Minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, the ticking.
A quote unquote, educational show, at least something newsworthy, is number 2. Number 3 was Roseanne in 1990. Roseanne was the number 3. 4 was A Different World. Number 5 was The Cosby Show. That should, even
that
Ghost
didn't age well.
Ghost Dad.
Ghost Dad couldn't slow that train.
The Cosby Show starring Ghost Dad. The crossover event.
Just have 2 Cosbys. Double the Cosby. No. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh man.
You got another one? Let's see. It's 1, 2, 3. Number 6 on top 10. Murphy Brown, number 6 rated show for the year, 1990. Number 7, America's Funniest Home Videos with Bob Saget.
Oh
Bob Saget.
man.
Watch it all the time.
Yes,
for sure.
And then we've got next one. We've got Empty Nest. Don't know what that is. No clue. Some sitcom, Empty Nest, top TV show of 1990.
Let's just leave it.
Let's just leave it. We're gonna move on past that now. You guys can figure out what the hell Empty Nest is. Monday Night Football. It was Monday Night Football, not Sunday Night Football in the 90s.
Oh, weird.
Not sure why. And number 10, Golden Girls. I think it was entering. It's close to last season, I believe. Worst TV shows for whatever reason this year. There was a taking of John Hughes's like movies, like the main characters, and trying to make a sitcom out of it. Worst TV shows of 1990, 3 of them I've got. Ferris Bueller. They did a show trying to make around Ferris Bueller's life, but it was just a sitcom. Another worst TV show, Uncle Buck. Same sort of deal. Another John Hughes. Uncle Buck was also canceled after 1 season. I'm not even sure it made it all the way through, but easily the worst show of 1990, famously bad, historically bad, Cop Rock, which was a cop show that featured singing and dancing while they were in the
Weird.
trials, while they were doing like court scenes. And it's like, officer, you did not arrest me. I was this, or something like that. It's just like, yes,
What
I
the
did.
fuck?
And they would have like these, like, it was much better. Well, actually, I don't know how much better the songs were, but at least they made sense. I wonder what the hell I just tried to pull out my ass. But you get the idea. It's something like, freeze right there. You better not move a hair, a hair, a hair. It was just like this crazy, cheesy, cheap cop rock. I think
Cop rock?
I think it lasted like 2 episodes. They might have done like their own versions of popular songs too, and really butchered them. Like really butchered them.
There's only 11 episodes.
Yes,
that's it. Yeah.
Yep. Cop rock.
Yeesh.
Watch some videos on cop rock. That's it. It's a good, funny, laughing time. Yeah, cop rock.
Oh, Randy Newman did the theme music. There you go.
Short people. Yeah.
You got a friend in me.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, we will now move to video games released in the United States in 1990. And there's an interesting video games back in the 90s, turning of the 90s, isn't as easily distributed as it is now. A lot of games got released in Japan, and they didn't get released in the United States till a year later, if not 8 years later. For example, on April 27th in Japan, Final Fantasy III is released. It's not released in the United States till it comes out on the PlayStation in like 2000 or something like that. So Final Fantasy III released on April 27th. On June 9th, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers for the Nintendo Entertainment System comes out. I remember playing that a lot. Chip and Dale's. It's a great 2-player game. Had a lot of fun with it. I'm pretty sure we beat it at one point, but yeah, it was a classic game. For Sega, we had Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, came out on July 20th.
Oh yeah, I played that on an emulator. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that. That's also worst game of the year. Let's just put that. That's also the worst game of 1990.
Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking ridiculous name.
Got like
for
those
a
like
game.
cheap little like audio clips of like what is that song called? Smooth Criminal. It's like,
oh sure.
Just like this horrible sounding character movements and everything else. Yeah. The very first John Madden Football was released on December 16th for the Sega Genesis in 1990. Played that game a lot.
Nice.
I was always Minnesota. I remember there was one game in particular I was playing John, and he had gotten a touchdown and he had taken the lead. I think he led by like maybe 4 points. Like I needed to score a touchdown and there was no time left. He kicked the football off to me and I ran it all the way back and I won, and he never played again. He was so mad.
Oh wow.
I remember that
That's
because
crazy.
I ran it back for a touchdown. I won the game.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck this game. Obviously didn't say that, but yeah. But the biggest game of 1990, by far, one of the greatest 2D side scrollers of all time. It's just influential still influential for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Sorry, for the NES, Super Mario Brothers 3 was released on February 12th.
Mm-hmm.
That I love that game. I played it all the time. Also, John, the older brother, got grounded because he played it too much, and his grades were slipping. And I've never been happier because he was crying about having to be grounded. I could play Nintendo all day. My grades were fine. My grades were solid. So I didn't, oh, does that mean I get it all to myself? What a shame. You should really, really do your homework, kid. Yeah. But yeah, that was yeah, so that would be probably, that's the best game I'd say easily for 1990. Super Mario Brothers 3. Any Mario Brothers 3 memories, Brad?
We never had a original Nintendo growing up. Had a Super Nintendo. Mario 3 is great, but I always preferred Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Which that'll be
we'll get
next
there.
week's episode.
Because that came out shortly after. Because, well, one of the things.
Yeah, it was 91.
Super Mario Brothers 3 had actually been released in Japan, like in 1989,
Oh, okay.
something like that.
Yeah,
It had
yeah.
been
They
released
always get
earlier.
everything
Yeah,
earlier.
and they had already been working on Super Mario World for the next system, the new Nintendo. So when it finally got around to being released in the United States, literally like within like 10 months, they had released the Super Nintendo and the new Mario game. And it was like Mario Brothers 3 only had about a year or so of like shelf life where people were. It was the new game, which is crazy that it's still, even after that, is still regarded as like one of the greatest, if not the greatest,
Hmm
2D side scroller. So yeah, um, that is it for 1990, fellas. That'll do it. It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Learn some new things. The 90s should be interesting, should be fun. A lot more stuff. 90 felt kind of like just kind of a soft starting off point. There wasn't too much in terms of music, movies. I mean, movies are pretty good. I'd say the movies are probably the best
Mhm.
thing about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I look forward to that. So with that, I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation, and will join us again for another installment of History with Hersavat. Don't forget to hydrate, exercise, and to like and subscribe to the podcast. All these things are essential for your health and well-being. Take care of yourselves and each other.